The movement of people, plants, plant products, and other associated articles, such as biopesticides across borders, are the major pathways for plant pests and diseases. These pests flourish when they find favorable climatic conditions in new environments, leaving behind a trail of economic and environmental consequences, which is often, initially, unseen. The Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service, KEPHIS, is a state-owned regulatory agency responsible for safety and quality assurance of agricultural inputs and produce.
Importation of plant material into the country poses very high risk of introducing pests and diseases that do not occur in this country that can be harmful to our agriculture and environment. As you all know, agriculture is very important to our economy. They contribute more than 26% of the GDP, employs many youths, women, and also provides raw material for other industries. So it's very important that we protect our agriculture at all costs.
To safeguard the country against entry of prohibited plant materials, exotic pests and diseases, KEPHIS, in collaboration with other government agencies, undertakes surveillance at all major entry and exit points.
We encourage everybody to declare their material at the entry point, and from there you'll be advised what should be done.
Agriculture is a key sector and very important that must be safeguarded. One of the ways is to protect that agriculture from threats that is coming from the international markets or from international origins.
Some of the common places where we see people bringing in materials that have not been cleared by KEPHIS or not permitted by KEPHIS is mainly at the airport through the passenger terminals. Others also import as a commercial consignment.
The threats are carried in the ethics, or lack thereof, of unscrupulous business persons attempting to sneak in unauthorized plant products and machines. There have been instances where such culprits are arrested at point of entry into the country.
It's important for people to know that you cannot just import or rather bring in plants and plant materials into the country. There are requirements that are set by law that should be followed.
But just what are the requirements for one to import plant materials into the country?
The cost of a permit is only 600 shillings per permit, per consignment. So we give for every time you want to bring something, you have to come for a permit. Importation of plant is categorized into three. There are those ones where we will simply just give you a permit with certain conditions that must be met. And in the country where you're getting the products from, they will certify and give you good material. There are others, category number 2, where they need to come under quarantine. That means that even if they were checked in the country where they were coming from, Some of the diseases cannot be seen easily. They can be like viruses that are inside the plant. The plant may look healthy, but it's actually infected, and when exposed to certain conditions, the disease expresses itself and it can be spread to affect other plants in the country. So such plants are brought under what we call quarantine. So if you want to trade or to grow such plants, to import them into the country, we have to tell you under what conditions you need to bring them. They may be under greenhouse conditions, or you may need to fence or put certain restriction on people entering where you have planted, depending on the type of disease that may be spread through them. Some other plants are usually prohibited from being imported, but for the sake of facilitating business, we allow such plants to be imported, but certain risk assessments have to be done. And also we have to talk to the inspectors of the other country to ensure that they give you good materials that are not infected by the risky organisms or diseases and pests that may be attacking those plants.
Upon getting the import permit from KEFIS, you can now proceed and bring in the plant material if it is allowed.
Non-compliant material may be denied entry and shipped back to its point of origin, or is subjected to restricted entry until all requirements are met. Crops and plants leaving the country are subjected to the same procedure.
We do surveillance at the major entry and exit points just to make sure that we check on what is coming into the country, the plant material originating from various origins coming to the country. We have had cases where people have come in with plant material, they're not aware of these requirements, and so unfortunately we have had to intercept and confiscate those materials. We have also done some regular testing of the materials that have been coming into the country, and we've been able to detect some foreign pests which are within those materials. And unfortunately, these materials have to remain with KEFIS, and we destroy them just as a way of mitigating that.
Our country has suffered a lot due to introduction of threats from outside the country. And I would give an example like there is the water hyacinth that has destroyed our Lake Victoria. It was actually imported, probably as a pot plant, and the dangers were not known whether it could be that much. Another example is the larger grain borer. The larger grain borer is a pest that really destroys our grains. It has destroyed a lot of foodstuffs that we have had in our country, especially maize, and maize is one of the staple foods in our country. Another example I would give is one of the recent emerging issues, the tuta absoluta. Tuta absoluta is a leaf miner. It's also called the tomato leaf miner, which is also a very destructive pest that destroys our crops.
Our request or kind of urge is that the people should familiarize themselves with the requirements before even traveling. We have our website where the information about requirements for importation or traveling with the plant material into Kenya, that information is available in the KEFIS website.
The other place where people also bring in a lot of material, which is sometimes is in bulk, is through the Mombasa port and also through our borders with other countries.
For the war against invasion of foreign pests and diseases in the country to be effective, there is need for concerted efforts from all the stakeholders.
Whenever a pest, which is a new pest, it is introduced into a new location, it doesn't have natural enemies, and therefore the possibility of that pest spreading quickly is high. And to be able to contain or to control it, it will take the government and the other agencies a lot of effort and a lot of money, a lot of resources to be able to contain or to control it. So instead of waiting until we treat, the importance of declaration is so that we can control and restrict and prevent before the entry of that particular pest. So we urge anyone that is traveling into the country, regardless of their origin, regardless of their status, the VIPs, the regular tourists, the Kenyan citizens, whether coming on land, by sea or by road, to declare plant materials in their possession to a plant inspector, so that we can be able to contain and mitigate the risks of disease and pests.
With the emerging of e-commerce, there is a lot of importation of seeds and also plant materials, and today we have learned that such imports can be very dangerous to our country, and we would encourage that whether you are importing through the normal means or using e-commerce, we would encourage you to first come for import permits. Those ones doing courier business like DHL, always to report to KEFIS when they notice that the products that are coming in are plant materials. Some of the documents you should always check is whether the person had a plant import permit from KEFIS and whether they have a phytosanitary certificate from the country of origin, and also call the KEFIS inspectors, or where we usually frequent, like the post office, ensure that those materials are kept for KEFIS inspectors to come and clear them, and through that we'll be able to protect our country.